Guys, forget about the government shutdown or any other financial issue out there. This is the main one that you need to be paying attention to. And guys, it's alarming. The dollar index, right? The Dixie, it's down, I think, 10%. You see that number, 9.8% year to date. Yeah, the dollar is crumbling right now, guys. And this has been the case for quite some time. Literally, all year, the dollar's gotten worse and worse and worse, which means if you're saving money, right, in a savings account, earning 0%, you're losing. You might think you're winning, you might think you're getting ahead, saving money, right? But this shows you you're not. And yeah, if you're saving for a house, if you're saving for a short-term savings goal, that's different, right? Whole different ballpark, different ball game. But if you're, looking at dollars and you're saving them for the long term, you're thinking, 5, 10, 15 years out, your money is poof, it's gone, it's vanishing, right? This is why gold is hitting 4,000 an ounce. This is why, and dollars, by the way, this is why silver is breaking out to, multi-year highs. Why Bitcoin's going bananas, because the Dixie's going down. And a lot of people know this, right? But a lot of people don't realize this. And this is another thing worth mentioning here. The wealth gap is only widening, right? The wealth gap is freaking widening, guys, right before our eyes. The rich get richer, poor get poorer, because guess what? Poor people don't own assets. And when the dollar's getting demolished, the Dixie's going down 10% year to date, guess what? Assets are going up. People that own gold, silver, Bitcoin, equities, real estate, these go up in value, right? Whereas people that even are saving cash, they're losing. And if you're not saving anything, or if you don't have anything invested, no assets, you're getting hit the most right now, right? The wealth gap's widening. It's a sad reality, but this is what we're seeing, guys. Dollar index, it's the weakest it's been, I think, in like 2 decades. Yeah, it's not looking that great. What do you guys think? Follow along for more and check out the link in my bio for my portfolio updates. I'll see you there. Guys, forget about the government shutdown.
Shalom, Yashala. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chachodash. Double honors to the above the elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect talking out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. This is your brother Amar from the GMS Boise, Idaho camp, and I want to do this lesson, based on this video and a lot of other economic, I guess you could say, people that just put their whole life into looking at financial patterns, the difference between stocks and people that are really, economically based, which is this page. And this guy that's talking he's just going into the basics on the devaluation of the US dollar over the time, and this year specifically is taking a major hit. So in layman terms, something more simple to understand, that he said that the value of the dollar is devalued at 9.8% year over year, which means it's almost 10% inflation rate of the devaluation of the dollar. So what he's saying is, if you're saving money, you're losing. And what he means by that is, if you're saving money at a 0%, you're not gaining anything. You're actually losing, having that money just sit there. Because if the money that you have in the bank does not exceed the number that the current inflation rate is at, you are not making money no matter what you do. If you already own the property, if you already have land, that's another thing, because that value of the land is only going up. But for those people that are saving, thinking that having money in the bank at this point in time is saving you money, unless you got an interest rate that gives you money back more than 10%, which is damn near it. Banks don't do that. Banks aren't giving you a 10% hand over hand every year based on how much money you're having in the bank. That doesn't exist. They'll give you maybe 1%, 0%, 0.7%, some really, really low numbers. So over time, no matter what, even if you're constantly putting money in the bank, your money isn't going anywhere. So before, that hasn't been the case. Only as of recently, with the major escalation of the fall of the value of the dollar, you can see the effects of people not being able to buy houses. People draining their savings because the amount of money it costs to live is way more. And it's not so much that it costs to live more, it's that the value of the dollar that people are making is valued way less. That's why this man also mentioned that gold is 4,000 an ounce. And it's only been going up. And it's not that gold, changes so much in value, but it's that the dollar and what it represents of how much gold you can buy with the US dollar has astronomically increased. And the dollar being one of the strongest, it's like the strongest currency in the world, because even the markets today are still based on the petrodollar, and that the petrodollar is what establishes the price of barrel of oil for the whole world. So as you can see, if you're invested in this world, if you're thinking that your good job and your big retirement, your 401k that you've been working for forever, has been putting you in a good spot to succeed in the future, you're a fucking, it's a lie, man. This whole system is at the teetering point of collapsing, and you got dumbass people still thinking that the safest place for their money is in the bank. Let me tell you what, you could be a millionaire. When the system flips, everybody is going to have to get restarted under that digital CHIP, the Charagma, the B system, the New World Order. Your own private money that you have gotten is not going to save you, or it's not going to stop judgment. It's not going to save you from judgment. It's not going to make it easier for you to deal with it. If you do not have Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you are going to be weeping and howling. And that's what is going to segue me into James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. Moth-eaten and corrupted goes into decay. This place is decayed, much like the Roman Empire and how they had their currency quickly devalued and valued almost damn near at nothing by the time the empire collapsed, the first leg of the Roman Empire. You had the denarius, which was a very big coin, but when towards the end of towards the end of the empire, it was a little coin smaller than a dime. And the amount of weight a coin held showed how much value it had. So they were trying to cut the corners and make their coins smaller and mix the metals and do all these things, and all they did was further make things worse. Because what does Babylon the Great do now? They just print more money, because paper money is just a Federal Reserve note representing whatever the value is at that current moment. Because if you have gold, you always have gold. It's always going to maintain its value. But if you have money, paper bills, or even a digital currency, it can be inflated, deflated, like a damn roller coaster, man. And that's why it's going to give all the elite the power to do everything that they can against you, man. But ultimately, these people that think that money is their way out of the curses, thinking of specifically towards Jake, you're wrong. Because money, no matter how much you make, you are going to have to make that decision whether you have Yahweh Bashem Yahushai in your corner or you don't. Whether you're going to take the Charagma and give up everything that you have. And most people won't. So that's why everything that they have prepared before them ultimately is going to be a snare for them. And that's why I'm going to get Romans 11:9. And David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. So just as these people thought money is going to get their make their life better, got to get that bag, doing the most heinous things to get money, selling out their people, turning up, turning their back and switching up on people they love due to money for a temporary, release, a temporary easement of navigating in this world. Because money can distract you from a lot of things. Money can make you be entertained all the time, have everything you want, so you don't have to focus on the curses or whatever it may be, man. That Jake thinks that money's their only way out, man. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is the only way out. Repenting and coming back to these law, statute, commandments to the best of your ability, not staining yourself with the world, and to be able to push this message in truth and sincerity that can really put spiritual riches and shows you by coming into this truth how to store spiritual riches in the kingdom, man, for these days that we're gonna need it, man. Because let me tell you what, you're not gonna be able to eat your money when you need a miracle. What's that Native American proverb? Only when all the trees have been cut down, all the rivers have been polluted, all the animals have been killed, all the fish have been fished, then will the man realize that he can't eat his money. So going into Esau's destroying the very fabric of his society by him constantly pushing that money, money, money. Because let me tell you what, people are going to destroy their own lives to get the charagma only because of their love for this world and their love for carnal and tangible things. And people you love are going to take that charagma because they love this world more than Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So understanding that mainly the point that I want to push on this lesson is that Esau's money is failing. This place is rapidly not being able to sustain itself. The average everyday middle class citizen that was the epitome of the American dream of what America can support. America can barely support itself and its families that it has here by the jobs that it gives its citizens to be able to make a career out of. You have people literally working fast food places more fucking consistent than actually joining a trade or doing other things, man. And that's another thing. There's a lot of jobs in fucking construction, man. I know that for a fact. At my job, we're always hiring, man, because it's really hard to get somebody to do laborious work, man. I have a very laborious job that a lot of people, of the 8 people that I started with at my job, every single one of those motherfuckers quit, man, because it's a very hard job. Working construction, specifically the trade that I do in construction. I'm not just a fucking electrician, man. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm not. I'm not just it's an ongoing joke in construction that electricians are soft, but no, man. We it's not an easy job for someone to wake up early, be outside in the elements, be in the hot, be in the cold. But at the end of the day, that's been the most consistent thing in Babylon the Great. But these tech jobs, these office jobs are quickly being replaced by AI. So you have these Americans that have constantly always looked for the easy way out in whatever profession they chose, quickly getting eaten up very quickly. And that actually makes me think of a picture that I screenshotted specifically for this lesson. I got it so I didn't forget. But as of the first day of the government shutdown, you had 100,000 federal workers resigning, which took their resignation formally, which means they got paid out. They got a severance pay. They got paid a certain amount for the rest of their paycheck as long as they, quit the job. But now they got to find another job in a job market that's not there. So again, man, I wanted to, push this lesson, but I didn't want to drag it out too long. But I wanted to get one more scripture, and then I'm going to close it out. Salakia. Fuck. Hate when I do that. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 2 and verse 22. Or Salakia, I don't know, 9 and 22. I don't know what I'm thinking. 2nd Ezra is 9 and 22 because ultimately this is not a warning for the world. This is a warning for the elect. And the elect are going to hear it, repent, come back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. And that's what I'm just using the money problem of what's going on in this world to further threaten our people that if you don't turn back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, that's your ass that's going to be out in the street. That's your ass that's not going to be able to provide. That's your ass that's going to be stressed because you don't know where your next check is coming from. But with Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, anything is possible. And you're going to need a miracle in these last days, not your fucking stable job when shit hits the fan, man, to keep you stable. And even brothers with stable jobs don't even attribute their jobs to that, them being stable. They attribute it to Yahweh Shemi Shai, but all these people are completely infatuated with only the things that they can fucking see with their eyes. These damn faithless generation, man. That's why we're not even going to feel bad for you, Jake said. Oh, I'm going to run to Esau to get a Karagma because there's nothing else to do. You fucking monkeys, you, man. That's why, Jake, we don't feel bad, man. We send this warning out week in and week out, but if our people are going to wait for Esau's boot to teach him the lesson, then so be it. This is 2 Ezra 9:22. Let the multitude perish then, which was born in vain. The Lord called it born in vain. And let my grape be kept and my plant. That's the elect, the remnant. For with great labor have I made it perfect. Imagine how the powers saying that with great labor man, that's because Jake's a stubborn people, man. It's a miracle that we weren't destroyed as soon as we left out of Egypt for the sheer mercy of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai and Moses pleading with him that the Lord didn't destroy our hardened, stiff-necked ass back then, man. So that's why it's with great labor Yahweh Bashim Yahushai has brought the elect through all the different trials, Esau's medicines, Esau's jabs. We got past autism, and the fact of Esau trying to juice us in the womb. To this day where you have these men standing on the highways and byways telling you exactly what's going to happen before it happens. So get right or get left, because this economy is going to collapse and the next phase is full steam ahead in the New World Order and with prophecy. So understand this, your dollar is useless, and do not put your faith in mammon. And I'll get that. This is Matthew. I'm going to close it out with this because it just came at the end. This is Matthew 6:24. No man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve the Most High and Mammon. And Mammon is an actual spirit that gets attached to Jakes to have them completely do anything for the bag, anything for money. So don't let that be you. So Lord willing that this lesson was edifying unto the elect. Till next time, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and infinite praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rachar Chadash, and double honors to the beloved elders and the apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth, and peace and salutations to all you hopeful elect Akim out there laboring that are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. Till next time, Lord willing, Shalom.